friends at Tivoli Brewing Company and the Department of Communication Arts and Sciences at MSU Denver, this is Unfiltered. And here are your hosts, Jay Schrader and Dr. Samuel J.
This is a unique interview today.
Yeah, we're at a craft ski-ery.
Where are we?
This is Meier Skis, baby.
This place is awesome.
Isn't it cool?
By the way. Ted, what's the address? We like to tell people the address.
1775 South Broadway.
Okay.
Sobo.
And you are who, aside from Ted?
Yeah, Ted Eynon, owner of Meier Skis.
And we got a little.
Cheers. Welcome,
yeah,
guys.
thanks for having us in. This is exciting.
Yes.
We have some background noise too. Share with us who the ski shop / bar mascot is.
We have a shop dog and we have a shop cat. Shop kitty who's a bit of a refugee at the moment.
Okay.
So he is seeking shelter here at Meier Skis, and you know we kind of let everyone in here. So in this case, it's a feline. It's a cat, and he did set off our motion detector last night several times.
Okay.
Wow.
So he used to wake me up at home all the time. Now he's waking me up from afar.
Yeah, I don't know which is better. So what's the cat's name?
That's Maverick or
Maverick.
Mav for short. And he's
right.
part dog. He's not your typical cat. He's
Big cat.
kind of a funny cat.
That's all right.
Now, we wanted to come here, obviously, because our friends at Tivoli said you got to go down there. But we're sitting at a bar right now that has 1, 2, 3, 4. How many beers on tap do you have on a good day?
Oh, well,
the best day.
These just came in the end of last week, so unfortunately there are no kegs in there now, but there will be.
So you want to have a full...
Yeah, we're going to be full on. I don't know how many taps we're going to have.
Looks
just
like
keep
12
buying
lines.
shit. We're going to see how it all plays out.
No.
Dude, that's my kind of operation right off the bat. So let me just fill you in, Ted, on why we're really here. And the background is I've demoed a couple pairs of Meyers. I've been following Meier on Facebook and online for a while now, and I'd heard the rumors that there was a bar in the production facility, and I had to see it to believe it. Bottom line is, as cool a location as your last spot was, it was a pain in the ass to get to, which is why I was never able to stop in.
It was, and parking was even worse. I mean, it's funny. It's one of those places you could see off of I-25 if you knew where to look. But, you know, it's kind of like you can't get there from here. You can see it, and you're driving by, but where you get off and how you get there was a pain in the ass, and parking was even worse. So it really was painful. It was a great place for us, though, to kind of land on our feet here in Denver, you know, coming out from Glenwood Springs. So it was a good first place for us and kind of make our bones here in Denver and get things rolling. And we're real excited to be at our new location here.
Yeah,
Can you tell us the I got this. The Meier Skis story, then. Let's jump in there.
Sure.
You are a brand that many people from here know. That I think the logo, the name is pretty synonymous with just Colorado skiing. And so, what's the story?
And the skis are beautiful.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks. We've worked hard on it. That's for sure. A lot of people have worked hard on it. And thankfully we have a passionate, customer base that's out there helping us out, giving us a hand as well. Okay. But it started out in Glenwood Springs, and my partner, Matt Cudmore, started it out of his garage. And he had, a pair of big brand skis. They were falling apart on him. And he's one of those, guys who likes to design stuff and build stuff. And he's a doer. And decided he was going to make his own first pair of skis, so started looking into it. One thing led to another, and his brother at the time worked for the Colorado State Forest Service down in Crested Butte, and he's like, Matt, why don't you look at using sustainable wood and locally harvested wood, such as aspen, which if you cut one aspen down, you get many different shoots, right, grow from that, because it's kind of a continuous root system underground. Anyone that has a yard and has aspens knows they always pop up where you don't want them.
They're like weeds, let's face it.
They are, yeah.
They're like weeds, exactly. And then, of course, the pine beetle kill epidemic, right? All of us in Colorado that go in the mountains, we're well aware of that, where literally mountainsides and mountain passes are completely brown now. Yeah. And all of the, all the trees have really just been devastated because and this goes into a longer story, but we've had a long partnership with the Colorado State Forest Service, and we suppress forest fires now because we've moved as people. We've moved into the, kind of the urban interface into the mountains. So when there's fires in their populations, we put them out because we don't want to lose life and property. But the natural way it goes is it burns naturally, and that's the natural cycle of the forest. So since we suppressed forest fires and we weren't doing much logging and so forth through the years, the forests have become overgrown, and it makes them susceptible to diseases and, the pine beetle in this instance. So.
And the pine beetle, I don't know that too many of our listeners are going to be aware of this unless they're Colorado-based, but what's so unique about the wood itself once it's been infested, and then the pine beetle's moved on? What's the unique characteristics of pine beetle kill pine wood?
Right. Yeah, it's strange. I don't pretend to understand it all, even though I've read 100 articles on it. But the bottom line is, once they've come in and wreaked havoc on the forest and on trees, they end up leaving this blue streak. So they refer to it as blue stain. And you get these crazy color patterns that have often bluish kind of tones to them. And they're all just kind of wildly different patterns. There's no consistency to it. And it just looks cool as shit.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people use it for, trim for doors and windows, or soffits, or furniture and so forth. And when they harvest it at the right point, which the loggers, they want to maximize their profitability on the timber. When you harvest it, I think it's within like a year's time. Often the wood, it gets classified at different levels, and it can actually be used for framing houses as well.
Oh.
And so, we spec our wood, to be clear, doesn't have knots, and has to be of a certain grade. And because I've had people say, well, geez, why do you make skis out of dead trees? And I'm like, well, I know you may find this hard to believe, but all the trees are dead. Once the wood goes into a ski.
I'll be damned. Wait, stop the press.
The stuff's still growing at Home Depot, but these bastards in Meier, they kill the tree, for Christ's sake. Come on.
That's it.
Oh,
yeah, we
geez.
catch that a lot. And the other thing is
Transplants.
And everyone has different philosophies and different views on things, right? But, we feel pretty good about the wood that we use and the trees that we use, and that it's local. We're not importing it from, South America or Southeast Asia or what have you. We do use a little hard maple here and there for some skis that we want to be a bit heavier and burlier for, Michigan, New England, more kind of akin to racing type skis.
Right.
But most of what we make is predominantly aspen with just a little bit of pine beetle kill. Probably like 85% aspen, 15% pine beetle kill.
Oh,
just
wow.
a little bit of pine beetle
I didn't realize that. I thought you guys used predominantly the pine beetle, but
yeah,
I'm not here to judge either. So.
No, but most people do, because whenever we get interviewed, I'll use the word aspen 100 times and what have you, but it never makes the story, and it's always about the pine beetle.
We clue into the word pine beetle, huh?
Yeah.
Well, for our listeners that are drinking while they're listening to this either today or down the road, I challenge you to take a shot or a sip every time you hear the word pine or beetle or now aspen. Because
I think there's a collab between you and Lock & Co.
Yeah, well, yeah, no shit.
They make aspen-aged whiskey. You guys should.
Have you ever heard of Lock & Co?
Yeah, no.
Oh man,
where are these guys?
They're right. They're
like
10 miles due east of you.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't even say that. Rick and
Owen
probably
Rick and
lives
Owen live like 5 blocks away. That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, they live right over in Platt Park.
Guess
So
we'll make an
wow.
introduction.
yeah, no shit. This would
Yeah,
be a great
connect
place
us.
for
Connect us.
We'll do.
for a tasting, huh?
So, at what point did you kind of jump on board and decide to scale this thing up?
Yeah. Well, I had been in the utility world my whole life. Not quite as sexy or fun as skiing.
What were you doing in the utility world?
I did a lot of different things, kind of field services work for electric and gas utilities that kind of morphed into software. So field automation software using kind of maps as the user interface. And so we did field automation, map-based field automation. and dealt with companies like Excel Energy. They were a great account of ours, but we had, I think, 22 of the 25 largest utilities in North America as a small little startup.
Okay.
And then GE, General Electric, which is, I don't know if buying MapFrame brought them down or what, but their stock has shit the bed ever since. So,
So
Wow.
the end started here, apparently. Yes. Oh, holy
Seemed like a good time to move on to making skis full time, huh?
That's it. Well, and I was traveling around the world with GE. It was fun, but they had like 500,000 employees, and it was just a very different world to me, and it was hard to move the needle at all, and it kind of lost its fun.
Did you always have a little ski bum in you, though?
Oh,
to
yeah.
be able to go.
I don't think you'd be crazy enough to get into the ski business not being a bit of a ski bum, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and there's many of us out there, not that we all end up being in the ski business, but, and honestly, that's our crowd, though, our ski bums. I mean, people that have grown up skiing or, are passionate skiers, whether they make a lot of money, a little money. We're kind of a skier's ski and a skier's ski company. And so I grew up skiing up in northern New Hampshire in Franconia. Grew up a New Englander just outside of Boston. And my dad was a certified ski instructor for like 45 years or something. In fact, we had a post on him today.
For
Facebook.
Veterans Day?
On Veterans Day, because he's 97 and still doing great.
Skis?
He retired from skiing 2 seasons ago and gave his skis to his cardiologist. But we skied. He even came out to Colorado. He'd come out to Crested Butte every year, and so he skied at 95.
Wow.
And he was a bottom gunner on B-24 Liberators. Which is pretty
Holy shit.
badass place to be.
Yeah. Skiing until 95 is nothing.
Yeah, right.
At that point.
That's
right.
Yeah,
He's legit.
Yeah, I feel like
I
I'm
wouldn't-
not man enough.
I wouldn't
right now
fuck
to
with that guy.
No.
I shouldn't.
That's
I don't deserve
crazy.
this beer right now. On this
Probably not,
Veterans
no.
Day. No.
You know what though? Well, since we have the beer,
Yeah.
here's to all the veterans. Really,
Yeah, no,
It's
for
Veterans
sure. Yes,
Day.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they give us the
Absolutely.
freedom to
Absolutely.
do nutty things like put a bar in a ski factory.
No. There's nothing nutty about that if you want my honest opinion.
No, it makes total sense. It makes total sense. So you had kind of decided that traveling the world was no longer your thing, or business travel, right?
Yeah, I wanted to take a break from it and be a bit more local and find something more laid back and not have 40 bosses squawking at me it was a challenge. It was a new challenge, and I'd never done business to consumer before, and still learning every day.
Yeah.
But we don't go into it with everything we do. We try and look at how the industry has historically done it or how we think they've done it, and then we think, what's the opposite of that? And we think of what. We always hear that it's better to make skis in China because it's cheaper, or Eastern Europe, and it's all about cost. And we think that there's advantages to producing right here, and you have to be creative to find a way to make the math work. And we're, truth be told, we're still working on
Still
that.
being creative a little bit.
Exactly.
That's all right.
But we try and go about everything a little bit differently and uniquely. Everything we do, we try and our business model's completely different. It's different than any ski brand in the world, as best I know, because we sell direct and indirect, simultaneously, which is very, very unique.
So by indirect, you're selling through third-party retailers?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then direct means I can walk in and buy it off the shelf here at Meier Skis or on your website.
Exactly.
Where would hate to admit it, I didn't even know you guys sold through third parties. Where would you find a Meier at a local ski shop, or is it an REI type item? Or
it's not yet. I mean, we've chatted with them, but we're not in REI. Typically, smaller, independent, hardcore ski shops where the locals like to go.
Yeah.
The kind of place that has beer behind the counter.
Yeah, exactly. The price of entrance. If you want to, get the tune down a little faster, you better have a 12-pack under your arm. So. Yeah, and I think right now, I'm guessing a little bit, but we're probably at like 30 ski shops around North America. Like Dan, our West guy, he just left before you guys came in, and he just got back from British Columbia, where a great backcountry ski shop, Valhalla, I think they have somewhere around 20 locations in Western Canada, and we're in just a few of them at this point. But he said, he walks up and we're just front and center in the glass, and they love what we're about. They're about eco-friendly. They're about sustainability and made North America. And so, yeah, it's kind of, he was just filling me in just before you guys got here about the trip up there.
Right on.
You speak about this so comfortably, so I got to know. I'm going to press on this. How does somebody who had spent so many years in corporate kind of flip over and go brand first, culture first, which is everything you're saying? It's not about accounts first. You guys clearly have an idea of what Meier Skis is. You built a brand around it, and then everything came after. Was that did you always have that in your core, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. It's easier to have that in your head than it is to articulate it and to execute it and to spread that. It's easier said than done, like hanging around with a couple of people and having beers and, around the fire. It's easy to have that chat, but then how do you get that to resonate with everybody? That's been the challenge. And we just keep beating the drums the way we do. We've stayed true to our core values. We're not, we don't say that we're like, the most highly engineered ski. We're not saying that we're the most creative marketers in the world. I don't know that we're great at anything. We just try and do things the right way. We design skis well. We buy the best materials available in the world with an eye towards being eco-friendly, and then you build them right. Mm-hmm. It's not rocket science, really. It's not easy, but, you see through the years, you guys have been skiing for many years, you see the big brands come up with gimmicks all the time. There's always some kind of new gimmick, and I've been seeing gimmicks since I was a little kid, and if any of them worked, they'd still be on the skis. But it's, generally speaking, skis are made out of the same materials. There are nuances, but generally the same materials. And they're built pretty darn similarly, even for bigger brands. When you see the guys, I know factory's not operating today, but when we are, it's busy as shit right behind the glass here. And you watch them laying up skis. They do it the same way at Atomic and all of the big brands. There is no automated way to do that. They'll automate tuning. They'll automate maybe cutting out shapes of bases and cores and so forth, where we're a bit more hands-on. But when it's all said and done, you got to get hands on the skis to build them. And so we try and not, oversell, what it is we do, and we just try and keep it real, keep it true. And, all the way from using a clear top sheet to show off the natural beauty of the wood and the workmanship. And we've stuck to that, right? We won't make a ski that you
can't see the wood on.
That's it. That's our thing. And we've had some big brands that we work with. They're like, yeah, here's the graphic. And I'm like, well, that's cool. But remember we talked about showing off the wood? And they're like, yeah, well, it's like, hey, we're not asking you to change your recipe in your booze or your beer or your software. Don't change our thing. We want people to look at the ski and say, "Oh, is that a Meier?" And that's working.
It matches the bar pretty well.
Pretty easy ski to
These are ski cores, right?
I was going to say that's got to be something. It's a pretty easy ski to spot on the mountain too. So cool. Everything I hear, Sam, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or way off base here. Yeah, thanks. It's a lot like beer, right? It's a lot like making beer. You can do it micro, you can do it macro. There's 4 or 5 main fucking ingredients, but at the end of the day, you either get a mass-produced silver bullet, or you get a handcrafted, finely tuned, wooden-made Meier ski.
Yeah, it's not way off. I agree with you. I mean, obviously the beer industry is the craft brews are a much bigger market than kind of the craft skis and so forth. But and they had the term when I first got involved in the ski industry was boutique, and everyone kept calling us boutique. And every interview I had, I'm like, we're not. Is there anything about this that looks boutique-y to you?
I don't see any.
Boutique is a French word, I believe, right?
I'm just saying, I don't know who coined that, and that's where we're like, well, screw that. We are not a boutique.
And you're what? Tell us again.
We are a craft skier.
Now I gotta find out who coined the term. I mean, Was that you? Was that your partner, Matt? I mean, how in the hell did you guys come up with Craft Ski-ery? Because at the end of the day, that's probably either number one or number two reason I glommed onto you guys as a brand.
You just plug into the culture, right?
Yeah.
That exists,
Yeah.
right?
So-
I mean, tell everybody you're a craft something-ery,
Yeah,
and you win. But
so
you guys,
I would love to take claim for Craft Ski-ery, and I was the first person in Meier that came up with it, but I only came up with it because I'm regurgitating what I heard on a chairlift from an old dear friend of mine. I was skiing up in New Hampshire, up at Franconia on closing day at Cannon Mountain, New Hampshire. And for anyone that lives in Franconia, they'll know the Villar family. The Villars are Paul and Paula Villar. They were both Olympians, and my dad introduced them.
Taught them
way
how to
back
ski,
when in
probably.
the 40s. Yeah. Well, they are just kind of the fabric of ski culture and industry up in Franconia from back in 50s, 60s, 70s, all the way through. So I knew their kids well and grew up skiing with them and racing with them and so forth. So this was, I don't know, 6 years ago or something. Closing day, Cannon Mountain, sun's out. We're just lapping Upper Cannon, just having a blast. And, so she's asking me about, what the hell I'm doing in the ski industry. I'm explaining it, and I'm talking about, and we have a bar, and, we have beers, and people can watch people making skis, and we do tours. And she's like, oh. She goes, that sounds like that's a Craft Ski-ery.
That's crazy.
And I look at her and I go, that's fucking genius.
That's awesome.
pure genius. It's pure genius.
There's a level of comfortability and just a feel of comfortability just coming in here, right? Like you were sitting here at the bar.
Yeah.
There was nothing pretentious.
Yeah.
If I go to Christie's, I feel intimidated, right? Like
At Christie Sports, really?
hey, I'm from Iowa, man. I learned how to ski when I was 22 years old. This is a different animal. For me.
I
You grow
know.
up
I
with it.
know.
This
You
is
got to
the
hang
language
out.
you
You got to
speak.
hang out with me more.
Yeah, I know.
It's not
I
your
know.
fault.
That's really cool. So I guess
So it was Chrissy Villar. Chrissy
That's
Villar,
who it
who's an
was?
attorney, and we're in the
Oh, so
process of-
she's-
and we're in
I
the
was gonna
process
say-
of getting it trademarked. She doesn't even probably know we're using it.
Are you trademarking it through her as an attorney? Oh, man.
No,
All right.
no.
So, first things first, I think our listenership on the East Coast just went through the roof.
Oh, just
And if
exploded.
I mean,
Huge in New Hampshire.
we got to
now.
start doing some major targeted marketing.
We do.
on
We
Facebook.
really
It's gonna own Franconia.
Jesus,
hell.
that's
Own it.
awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Second of all, I don't know if there was a second or not, but I mean, it's just perfect, right? Craft Ski-ery. Beer, no. I know where I was going. Second of all.
Yeah.
Skiing and beer has always gone together. So was there ever a doubt that incorporating a bar or taps in your Craft Ski-ery, in your ski shop, in your showroom, did you even think twice about it? Or did you just say, fuck, we're going to put a bar tap in here?
Yeah, I think the latter. I mean, you always like to think, you typically pursue an idea you think is good, but you're never really sure, right? And I remember when we were at the old location, and because we have a lot of music, right? We work with a lot of different musicians and bands and festivals, and we held a number of amazing concerts at our last location.
Oh, really?
Nationally known. We had Leftover Salmon kicked off their last album there. We had a VIP event. Leftover Salmon played there. We had Eddie Roberts and the New Master Sounds have played there a number of times. He's a world-renowned guitarist. We've had collabo bands from the Motet, Pretty Lights, Dopapod, Los Lobos. I mean, we've had
pretty big. Those are some big names.
Yeah, big names, and they come in and they play together. And so when I see that and the place is packed and everyone's having fun and they're all milling out in the factory, talking with the guys, seeing how skis are made, and just having fun and watching them press, and I'm like, maybe this is gonna work, And it's still a work in progress.
No,
but,
I think
but we like making the skis ourselves here, being transparent with it. Making them available, to the public, because there's not too many people that go on this tour and are like, yeah, I know exactly how to make skis, right? Almost no one does, and I certainly didn't, when I got involved in it. Matt didn't before he started making his first pair of skis. So, it's fun. You can learn a bit more about, what's on your feet and get a greater appreciation for it. And then, through that, get a greater appreciation of the materials that are used, where we're not willing to compromise performance to be eco-friendly, but whenever there's an opportunity to introduce something, a material that's more eco-friendly, like our epoxy. Epoxy is generally a pretty nasty stuff.
Terrible, yeah.
Yeah, and so we use bio-based resins, and it works fantastic. We use less ink because we like to show off the wood in the first place.
Yeah.
Right?
Genius.
And ink is nasty stuff, generally speaking. And then, of course, the locally harvested wood. So, we do a number of things, and the latest actually is, since the microphone is here, I can't get it, but we use...
Oh, dude, now we need wireless mics.
Shit. Next up, yeah.
For
Gotta
the
start selling ad
packaging,
money. Yeah.
when people buy skis, right, they're covered
Shrink
in
wrapped,
plastic,
dude. It
shrink
drives
wrap.
me nuts.
It's horrible, right? So we finally said no more freaking plastic, and so we're using recyclable material. We're using bands around the skis now, which they're right around the corner.
That's all right. We'll get him. Oh, go ahead. Go get him. Go get him. Yeah.
I'll be right.
You got it.
That's all right. We'll
God,
talk
this
to
place
Mav
is-
or something. Or Jono.
This
Hey,
place is really cool.
Jono, what's up? What are you doing over there? Yeah, are you looking at inappropriate stuff or are you behaving? Okay. Always got to check.
You got to check. He's that age.
Yeah, dude.
So that's
that
it.
age.
Just because really all you're doing is keeping the skis together.
Right.
And so, we just put it on the tip and tail, and it's made out of recycled material. And so I don't know how many times we've hustled, 20, 30 skis up to a mountain, and we bring them in, and we've just shrink wrapped all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as we get there, they start ripping it all
Yeah.
off. And none of that is reusable, and the plastics are out of control, right? It just, even they say now, when you put plastic in a recycle bin, they're saying single digits of that actually gets recycled, which is
Yeah.
crazy to me.
It's scary to
So
think about.
we're the first to do that, and I bet we won't be the last. We
No.
better not be.
I hope not. Yeah, that's amazing to think about that. I mean, every time I've bought a new pair of skis, which the older I get and the longer I'm married, the less and less I get to buy new skis. But they come shrink wrapped in the worst kind of plastic on top of everything else.
Right.
But this is an appropriate conversation, I think, to have this week because, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the major ski resorts announced a big shift in their wax because wax is also a toxic-based material, and they're using some sort of new waxing.
Yeah, Phantom
That's-
wax.
I thought it was called Phantom,
that, DPS developed. Yeah. And we've toyed with it a little bit. We haven't. I guess we haven't had enough experience with it yet to make the big move that they did. But good on DPS for coming up with something.
Somebody's
unique
trying,
and new and
right?
different. Yeah. And for Aspen Ski Company for giving it a go. And we'll see how it all plays out,
it was
right?
Vail or Aspen, I couldn't remember. So that's a good segue. Some of the other stuff that goes on here at Meier, you guys offer tunes, correct?
Yeah. We actually have set up a separate business called House of Tunes.
Okay.
And so we do binding mounts, and we sell bindings out of Meier, and House of Tunes will mount them up for you. And we do same day turnaround if you get them up by 10 a.m. I like though people say they'll come in at like 4 p.m. and be like, "So you guys do same day tune, right?" Like, yeah, dude, you might want to give us more than an hour, but
Jeez,
because
that's where that 12-pack comes into play, Sam.
That's
yeah,
it.
exactly. You got to come in there.
But
and grease
House
the
of
wheels.
Tunes is going well. I mean, we're right. We got Platt Park right here, Inglewood, Wash Park, University, and this area is just growing. And so, yeah, we our tuners have to be great because we do post-production tunes on all our new skis. And so we're staffed up a little higher than most because we're tuning skis in the summer, right,
Gotcha.
for our post-production tunes. And then we'll just, add a bit to it as we get into the season itself. But we've been hearing most shops in town are, a couple, 2-3 weeks out. And you got to pay a little bit more, but you can get them turned around in 24, 48, 72 hours if you want.
That's amazing.
Will you tune non-Meier skis?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
'Cause I saw a pair of Rossies over there, I think. So, yeah, 100%.
There's if you go back to the tune rack now, we probably have almost every, probably
Whatever
almost
you
every
want,
brand,
whatever you
you want. And snowboards.
Okay. I was
Equal
gonna ask.
opportunity.
All right.
Equal
Knuckle draggers allowed.
In fact, we probably get as many snowboards as we do skis
Sure.
in here.
Well, those are all the guys that were looking for a longboard skateboard
Yeah.
6 months ago. They're like,
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
there's a snowboard shop where my skateboard
cold out.
shop used to
Yeah,
be.
what
I don't
used
know
to
what to
happen?
do.
Yeah.
Now, as a former resident of the neighborhood, I can tell you that for years we would drive all over Hell's Half Acre to find a good ski tune. And at one point, I shit you not, 3 times in 2 years, I met a dude in an alley who's
Stop there.
No, I swear to
Write
God.
it down.
Tune.
That's a perfect.
the guy
soundbite.
the guy
for
owned a
social.
house in Wash Park, and he and his buddy or his partner or something bought it, and they tuned skis at night in the garage.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, it was the only place to get a local ski tune. So this is huge for the neighborhood. Right on time for me to move out. I'll give you props for that, but that's not your fault. That's life.
You can still come back.
Yeah.
Go
Oh,
out your
yeah.
way.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Well, I go out of my way to come to the dry cleaners, which is right next door. So nothing's changed.
So I guess to kind of, I want to ask, who's your targeted clientele for these? Because I love the idea of being eco-friendly. It's very clearly a part of your message. You walk in here and the aesthetic matches that for sure. Now you had mentioned kind of race skis, and maybe this has a different feel than an atomic ski, right?
Yeah,
like
and
for
we're
sure. So who's the?
we don't pass ourselves off as a race ski company, but
Right.
we have a ski that you can race on.
Yeah.
and we're not trying to pass it off as that we're going to have Michaela Schifrin on it or anything anytime soon. But it's
Do you
a
want
rocket
that, though?
ship, for someone that used to race, back in their younger years, it takes you back to your glory days.
Yeah,
You
it's
put
a little hot.
You put that racer tune on there, and once you set that arc, and you just got to ride it out, and by your 5th turn, you were just hauling ass and hanging on for dear life. But I would say our demographic. First of all, we don't go after the jibbers. We don't go after the park rats.
Right.
And there's a reason for that. It's not that we don't like the park. I mean, kids have so much fun in the park. I think it's been a great shot in the arm to the industry. But we're a little bit more of a ski shop. So when those kids they will eventually likely get sick of the park, and they're going to want to ride all over the mountain, and they're going to start looking for powder and trees and what have you. And those are really that's who we go after. The kind of those skiing families and people that grew up skiing, or maybe they got into skiing later in life, they'll go rip 20 blue runs in a day. You don't have to be the best skier on the mountain, but you can be the best skier on the mountain. I mean, we have all types on our skis. Typically, though, they're passionate regardless of their level of skill. Skiing is very important to them, or it's become very important to them. It's part of their life. And, they're getting excited. Those early snows, right, when they see the mountains get dusted, you can't help it. You start getting fired up. And, that's kind of I would say our demographic's probably a little bit older, probably like 35 to, I guess, 95.
It's us.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
us.
yeah.
It's us.
I didn't want to say it. I mean,
It's us.
It's
But there's a comfort, like, again, it seems
people
authentic,
that are
right?
willing to
It's-
spend
it's-
money, that are looking for quality over quantity necessarily, or that they want something they can say is their own, or that comes from the community. It's almost like when you walk into a craft
beer bar.
bakery, or a craft brewery, right? Like it's your neighborhood ski-ery bar.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's amazing about it is, though, and that's it, but we have managed to get a skiing population all over North America, and literally all over the world. I mean, we don't ship a ton of skis all over the world, but we shipped a couple, 2, 3 to Australia this summer, and that's not uncommon. We ship skis to Europe, Japan, but just here, I think we ship skis to every state in the United States, and it just amazes me sometimes when I see orders come in from Georgia or Texas or West Virginia or Florida, and it's pretty cool to, because skiers are everywhere, and that we've managed to get that kind of reach, beyond Colorado. Colorado's still our biggest market from a state standpoint, but New England, we are doing really well in New England.
Yeah.
And, things are looking up for us in British Columbia. And we're looking to add independent reps in areas we don't have direct guys. We only have a direct guy here in the Rockies and one in New England. And then we hope to fill in with independents. But we sell a lot of skis in Washington, Oregon, and California. And we've done nothing there. We really have done nothing there.
Bought a website domain and kind of left it at that.
Yeah, I mean, we do what we can to push on the digital marketing through social media. And, yeah, I mean, a lot of our marketing comes through our co-branded promotions with music, with bands. Like we work with Widespread Panic, Leftover Salmon, more recently the Motet, the Master Sounds, Telluride Bluegrass Festival.
Okay.
We've got a couple other fun things cooking. If we can just get a little time to turn our attention.
Are you the one
to
behind that then? Those partnerships?
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem like the cool guy.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm the cool guy, but I'm like, well, it's not like they're working with anyone else. Why not reach out to them?
Yeah, try it,
see?
right?
And it's fun because, the way we do it, because we actually make the skis here, there's really no risk to them. And so, we look for music that hits a demographic that we think a decent percentage of them are skiers or boarders. And go have a little bit of fun with them,
It sounds like they're looking for a podcast to partner with.
Well, I was just thinking I should go roll a joint right now.
You could do that. Yeah, you could do that too. Jeez, unfiltered joints would be cool.
We wouldn't get very far into a
Jeez. You're thinking we're going to take it merch.
I'm a humanities professor. I can do that all day long.
Yeah.
You can't. They drug test you.
No, they don't.
Really? I'm just kind of assume.
He's starting to think now. He's like, do they?
No. Shit. No, that's the best
When's
part
the
of
last time.
Anyway, no.
Meanwhile,
that's part of my most recent
do I have enough hair on
job.
my head
Now
for
the
to
problem
pull?
is if I'm looking for a new job anytime soon, that's a different story.
Exactly.
All right, what do you think? Digital marketing, website, or face-to-face on the chairlift? What sells you more skis?
Sheesh, I don't know. I think it'd be hard to have the business survive without any one of those things. They're all equally important. You have to, the old days, right? It'd be, you put the big ad in the ski magazine and, and people still look at the reviews from the ski magazines, top rated, the top 10 skis, all mountain skis. It's all bullshit, right?
Oh, yeah, because the ad for the first 5 skis is in the next 5 pages, and I can attest to this because
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's, you want, whatever. I'll bite my tongue. But
it's all right.
No, you're good. The unfiltered gets way more unfiltered after I hit stop record.
Yes, it does.
So
Here's my other question. As a local, as a born and bred native,
don't look at me.
I
I've
get
been out here for
fucking
a while.
sick and tired of the Colorado logo on everything in the world all of a sudden.
I
So
know.
you guys are actually making skis without the
We have
C.
one.
You got a couple with, a couple without.
We have, I think there's one up there, and we're about ready to release one for all of. I think we have 16 models, and one has the Colorado flag.
I guess it's probably just like staring me in the face because of the packaging demo that you brought
same
out.
Model, model, the quick draw.
No, but how much do you guys attribute Colorado to your identity?
Oh, absolutely. Look at our tagline up on the sign behind me, handmade skis from Colorado trees. And Colorado resonates globally, right? When you're in Europe and you say, if they ask, where do you ski? Well, Colorado. Oh, Colorado.
Yeah,
if you were to ask any skier outside of North America to name a state in North America or the United States that, they can think of that makes them think of skiing, Colorado's going to roll off their tongue 9 out of 10 times. And, we're in the city, the gateway to the Rocky Mountains, right? So, yeah, it seems like as good a place as any to make this whole craft ski-ery concept work. And the plan is to not just have this location here, although we still have a little more work to do here.
You looking for franchisees? Because
you guys ready to drop the mic? And
always looking for the next big thing. This is certainly up our alley, I think.
So how we've positioned everything, right? We have Meier the brand, and then we have the factory, the production factory. We have House of Tunes, and then we have the Craft Ski-ery as the bar, which we've applied for the liquor license, and we'll eventually get that over the finish line. It's just going to take a little while.
Yeah, it
here.
doesn't move with you, does it?
Yeah, no. So the idea is, though, to have a similar version of this without all of production, without all of the skill sets and all of the machinery required back there, where we kit everything up from here. We supply standard product from here to these locations, and they still, though, make customs there, but we kit everything up here, send it up there, and then they press the skis and finish them
So
there.
somebody can ink them or put their own top sheet in Southern California or
it could be
Vermont.
an individual, or it could be a business, it
Gotcha.
could be whatever. But
Okay.
then the skis would be a national brand, but with skis made locally if they want to do custom skis.
Sweet. All right. So my last question.
Last one, because the old computers.
Oh, we're losing.
Batteries,
we're losing
batteries
juice.
Forgot my
red.
charger.
We're
All right.
red.
Where's the one place we should look for you on the chair? Best mountain to ski in Colorado.
Ooh, good question.
And I have a follow-up question.
Right now, and then middle of February.
Let's
No,
see.
there's no place good to ski right now.
Wherever the best snow is on a weekday.
All right, touche. Best place to grab a beer at the end of the day skiing, because it is a beer podcast.
That's true.
Best
beer selection.
No, well, selection or best. I mean, best après, and not the French ski magazine.
I was going to
après.
say my truck, but
Oh, fuck yeah. Actually, that's the best place to have a before skiing beer, in my opinion, but that's a whole other problem. Your truck, there you go. Is it the white Meier branded truck?
It is.
There you
is.
go.
And there's so many great places, there are so many great places, and we're blessed, right? I mean, it's kind of endless out
spoiled.
there. We are spoiled, and it's but we live here for a reason. So
All right, I'm going to actually just go with the loaded question then, because I think I know where the answer's coming from. Epic or Icon?
Well, Icon is a partner of ours, and we actually have
Edit that out. Just edit that
we've
out.
made Icon pass skis and snowboards and shot skis, and it's fun to see the competition, right? No one likes to see a one horse race,
Right.
And so it's fun to see the competition, and so I think Icon, it's really ridiculous the mountains portfolio that they both have, right? But I mean, Icon, you can go down to Taos, you can go up to Jackson Hole, you can go to Big Sky, you can go to Alta. I mean, Mammoth, they have a ridiculous lineup in addition to everything we have right here in our backyard, with Copper, Winter Park, Aspen, and Steamboat. So it's, and A Basin, right?
And hats off. Well, yeah, that's a whole other thing.
I know.
Hats off to them, though, disruptors that they are. They did a hell of a job. In 2 years, they came in and made a name.
And we do have a smoking deal. If you have an Icon pass, any skis, all mountain skis, 110 or underfoot, $599, and anything over $699. So it's a smoking deal on
That is
standard
a smoking
product.
deal.
You get new skis right now?
No, because I don't have an. No.
I need new skis.
Yeah, but you don't have the right pass. And neither do I.
All right, Ted.
Epics is great. Yeah,
I'm cutting it off because we got to stop and refill our beer and the computer.
Yeah. We're going to need another beer. I'm not worried about
quick,
the computer.
Cheers.
Thank you,
Cheers.
Ted, so much. That's been
So
fun.
much.
Thank
Holy
you, guys.
shit, Meier
It's been fun.
Skis, everybody.
See you on the mountain.
No kidding. This place is awesome.
Let it snow.
Cheers.
Nice.